Hey survivors, in the video you're about to see, I will be going over some of the best PvE based locations on the Lost Island Ark map. Not only will I give you a little tour of each location, but I'll also be showing off some of the nearby resources and where to find them, as well as rating each location not only based on its aesthetic or how it looks, but also its proximity to points of interest and resource locations. The first location is the Lighthouse, located here at 2220-ish, 2220. Kind of the side of the lighthouse is located there in the northwestern part of the map. Now, to begin our tour, let's start at the top. First off, I really like the view. That's one of the things I really like about this location. When I first saw this location in the mod, this was where I wanted to build. Unfortunately, somebody got here first, and I'm kind of glad that they did, because I did find a much better location that I'll be showing you later. But here are some reasons why I like this location. So first off, you can build anywhere on top of here. So if you wanted to enclose the top of the lighthouse and just have that inside your base, or build something off to the side, there's a lot of different possibilities you have. Now do keep in mind, if you're on official servers and you're trying to build in this location, I'm not sure if you can build inside here on PvE. I think you can on PvP. But on PvE, I believe it only allows you to build next to the windows and nowhere else. So you will have to build like kind of outside, or on top of the structure, or next to and below the structure as well. But one of the things I just really like about this location is the way it looks. It's awesome. Could be really cool on like a roleplay server. I do like that, just kind of how clean this looks, and the way you can look out these windows and just kind of enjoy your high up area. Here is your main entrance. So let's take a look at what that looks like from the outside. So if you're coming up the hill towards the lighthouse, there is kind of a pathway going down, and then this nice staircase leading up. So if you go up the other staircase, there are a bunch of floors and a bunch of rooms through here. I don't know if you can actually like sit at this desk. No, you can't. Okay, so that's just aesthetic, right? You can't go up any higher than this gate. It's kind of blocked off, which is a shame. But you do have this little extra room here, and this main room, and then the room at the top. So a total of 3 rooms that you could potentially build in if your server allows building in caves. One really cool feature of this area, or this build location, is the cave underneath it. Now, there aren't a lot of resources nearby outside that are super close or very readily available, but if you are feeling adventurous and would like to go in this cave, note that there are typically a lot of spiders. Since I'm on single player, I don't know if they've rendered in and spawned in here, but if you do, oh, there they are. Yep. So there's some pretty high level spiders. So if you are a low level character or do not have any good dinos, I don't recommend trying to get your metal or resources this way, but you can. So down in this cave, if I can figure out where I'm going, I believe it's this way. Down, down, down. There are metal spawns. So if you do need metal and you're building at this location, you can get it here. I would recommend getting an Argentavis and flying somewhere else. I think there's maybe some obsidian somewhere in here as well, if I remember correctly. Not entirely sure exactly where it is. And this cave has multiple entrances. One of them kind of leads off to the side of a cliff. This other entrance that I went down is the bottom entrance that is in the trees down here, just right below. And then the other entrance kind of leads out to the cliff. So if you're on PvP and cave building is allowed, this could be a pretty decent PvP location because of how small some of the tunnels in the cave are, as well as the entrances to this place are fairly small as well. So no one's going to be able to bring some big dinos in for soaking. You could have all sorts of turrets and stuff set up. Could be pretty good for PvP. But for PvE, my overall rating of this area is probably, for aesthetic and feel, like it's like a 9 out of 10. It just looks awesome. But for practicality with getting resources and just kind of how far it is from other things, I'd give it like a 7, maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10. Location number 2, and one of my favorites, is located on the snowy mountain just south of the obelisk at about 31.7 29.2. It's almost directly east of the lighthouse we were just at, kind of southeast, east southeast. One thing I really like about this location, once again, similar to the lighthouse, is just that how intact these structures are and how you can build off of them. I mean, if you're really creative, there's a lot you can do here. These towers are really nice. They're just cool looking. Most of the walls are intact, so when you're building in here, it's basically like having a free wall all the way around. You only have to plug up some holes, and then you can, maybe if you get some Plant X out there and you're on PVE, you can just put your dinos out there. You don't have to worry about stuff attacking them. As far as I know, there aren't really many wolves or anything that spawn nearby, so you don't have to worry about those. One really cool feature is you'll notice right here is super duper flat. So if you need to build something flat or you want to make your own kind of base or tower right here, it is perfectly flat and perfectly level. Very easy for building. Also up within the main structure, it's mostly flat all the way through here. You got some stairs built in, some cool archways. Let's go into walking mode and just kind of do a little tour around. As you're walking up here, the main entrance is going to be on your right here, underneath this archway. You could probably fit a behemoth dinosaur gate, maybe two right here, one or two behemoth dinosaur gates. Right here, there's a couple ways you can go. If you go directly left, there is this tower with some spiral staircases that leads you up to this path that goes across. If you just want to go straight, you could put a mini dinosaur gate here and block off your entrance that way, and the rest of your compound is basically enclosed. Now, just like I kind of showed before, every one of these towers kind of looks similar, so I'm not going to go up and down each one of them. But this one, if I can jump there, oh, we're stuck. That's one little downside of these towers. You sometimes get stuck on the landscape a little bit, but you can put storage boxes up here. You can build just like the lighthouse. You can build a little bit inside near the windows or on the outsides. If you wanted to make this base look pretty cool, you could put turrets on each of these. The main building is right over here. Inside here, if you're on PvP, you can probably build anywhere you want. Or if cave building's allowed on your server, you'll have no problem. You can build anywhere up here. And then, I mean, just look at this place. This is awesome. There's already like a little sleeping bag there, like someone's been here. You got 1, 2, 3 floors in this other main structure here. And that's where that's located. So I came up and went around into that main structure. This little side structure here, you could build. I mean, you could make like a hatchery somewhere around here. This part of the structure is a little bit more destroyed, but it looks really neat. As far as resources, so here's kind of an aerial view of the whole thing. As far as resources are concerned, there are some pretty good resources nearby. You've got lots of trees and stone and whatnot for building. But in this cave, you'll find a bunch of crystal and obsidian. So crystal, obsidian, pretty easy to get. Another nice thing about this location is that there are beavers and beaver dams for free cementing paste and tons of wood if you need that right nearby. So here's the base. If you just go southeast of that location, right here by this waterfall, you'll see beaver dams, which are fairly common on this map. They're kind of they spawn almost anywhere that you find a river, but on this river particularly, you'll get the regular beaver dams, there they are, as well as these kind of non-build location beaver dams where they're kind of like drops. They always show up in the same spot, and beavers that you can tame. So if you need any of those for getting wood. One downside to this location, though, is that I was unable to find any metal very close by. There is metal, though. So if you do have an Argentavis, and you guys can correct me in the comments if you find any good metal spawns near here, but the closest or best that I found was to the north of the obelisk, down the side of the mountain here. There's a bunch of crystal, bunch of metal spawns here and here. The approximate coordinates are about 24.2, 31.7. And then even down here, there's like obsidian and more metal, just all the way down this north side of the mountain, north of the obelisk. So overall for this location, I'd give it like a little bit better than the Lighthouse. Probably be like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. I mean, just because it looks awesome. There's some nice flat areas to build. Maybe I give it, okay, I give it like an 8, solid 8, 8 out of 10. Because you've got crystal and obsidian nearby, you've got metal not too far, and cementing paste is fairly easily available. Location number 3 is probably one of the most sought after locations on PVE. It's one of the biggest natural structures and ruins in the Lost Island map. It has a ton of space, a ton of area, and it's located at 44.3, 53.7, or if you kind of go towards the middle, it's 44.8, 54.3. But you won't even need the coordinates. It's pretty recognizable on the map, just right in the middle of the river here. One really nice thing about this location is just the size of it. It looks awesome. There's an entire bridge spanning the river here. When you actually go inside through here, I mean, you could put multiple behemoth dino gates here to make it look awesome. Before you even get into the structure though, there's already some pretty cool stuff. You can turn right or left and go into the ramparts here. Now, once again, if you're on official PvE, you probably can't build in here, but as soon as that housing icon goes away, anywhere that doesn't show, you can build. So you could build up here, you could have a whole house up here if you wanted to. Let's go across. I mean, look at that. Doesn't that look awesome? I love the attention to detail that they've got going on here. Come up here. This is the other side. You can walk most of the way around these walls if you want to. Some of them are broken down though, so you will need to make gates to kind of close it off. And one downside to this location is there are a lot of dinos that spawn within the walls, so you will need to put down a bunch of foundations if you want to block spawns. But other than that, like, look at this. There's a whole village going on right here. So broken down house. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a little fishing area maybe. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many? Lots of different houses. 9 or 10 houses in this whole area. And then one of these is just a very intricate and awesome looking structure. This like kind of church or chapel area. On unofficial servers, I've seen people make this place look absolutely amazing. On official, once again, you can't, I mean, I've said this a million times, but you can't build anywhere except for maybe right next to the windows. The second part of the structure starts right here. Pretty similar to what I showed before inside the ramparts. There's just a bunch of stairs and things that go up, and then you can go all the way along the walls. This entire area here, though, is enclosed by those walls, and it's fairly flat, so pretty good for building. There's not much of a slope here, so you're not going to have to worry about that. I mean, it's almost completely flat, to be fair. And this is usually where I see people put their main castle or main part of their base that they want to build right within these walls. Some good spawns nearby. You've got lots of bees in the trees of the redwoods, so bee honey is pretty easy to come by. Spinos do spawn near here, so if you're looking for some kind of top tier dinos to tame, I mean, look at that. That's a 145 red Spino that just spawned next to here. Also, there is a cave just north of it, so northeast, with a bunch of metal, so easy access to metal and crystal. You also get salt from these little dinosaur bones. So if you ever need to make any preserving salts, you can get raw salt there. And then up these rivers, I have occasionally seen, I believe I've seen beaver dams. I'm not seeing any right now. But you are basically on this map, any river system, you'll get a lot of beaver dams. So if you search along any of these rivers, you're very likely to come across beaver dams for cementing paste. The only downside to this location is, wait, let me say that. The only downside to this location is that in order to get out, you're basically going to be flying or swimming or taking this very small bridge, but that shouldn't be a problem. Most people have RGs, or if you have Spinos or Rexes, they can walk through here, no problem. Overall, I would give this location a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. Pretty solid. For the fourth awesome PvE location, I've gone a bit south and southwest of where we were in the last one. This location is at 73.6, 39.3. This one's a little bit less well known. I don't always see a lot of people building here, but it is pretty awesome and pretty awesome looking. Let me show you what I mean. So first off, it's not very big. It's not as big as the other locations that I've shown you so far, but it is pretty cool. But one amazing thing about this location is you have metal right outside your door. You do not have to go far to mine metal. It's literally right outside your door. When you go in here, you can just take the stairs up. It does have a lot of holes. I don't necessarily recommend this area for like PvP, but this is more of a PvE video. All through up here, you can build as much as you want. Let me go ahead and fly again, get out of here. You can also build on top of these ramparts here. You've got 2 towers. You've got a semi-flat area in the middle. There's a lot of stuff you could do to make this location just look awesome. There's this little ruins area here. If you want to take a little closer look, kind of a balcony. Very quick tour, very small area, easy metal. And not only do you have this metal that's right outside your front door, but if you just go out and down, and it would be easier to get this with an RG or some type of flyer, you have even more metal scattered around the mountain. So here's just kind of one area. And if you wanted to, you could build up the mountain. There's metal here, metal there. Argentavises do spawn around this location, so you shouldn't have a problem getting yourself a flyer. Also, Sonoma crops spawn here. So it's a pretty good place for early on, for lower level survivors. If you need a flyer, you can get a Sonoma crops, get an Argentavis. You're close to the ocean. Basically, the only downside I'm seeing to this location is that there's not much crystal nearby, as far as I can tell, or as far as I've personally seen. There's not a lot of access to organic polymer or obsidian, but you do have the ocean and the ocean's resources very close nearby. And it's not too far from other locations where you can get resources in other mountainy areas. So overall, I would give this location a solid 8 out of 10. I'd say it's better than the Lighthouse just because of the access to metal. Also because it's a little less popular, so you're more likely to be able to build here on a lot of servers. The last location I'll be showing you guys is this sort of Aztec Temple looking area that's located in the jungle in the north side of the map at approximately 22.5, 41.5. It's about the center of it. Yeah, 22.5, 41.5-ish. This is an amazing base location and probably one of my favorites. It's also where I built on my official PvE server, so I'm a little bit more partial to this location. But let's take a tour. So first off, I thought this was going to be like some kind of cave area or something. As far as I can tell, it's just part of the landscape. Moving into the main courtyard here, you've got quite a few little houses that you can build inside of or around, and then you have 2 main temple areas and a tower. The inside of this tower is like a little broken down. There's some holes in it and stuff, but you can kind of build something inside this little top area. It will allow you to build there. The first temple over here isn't anything too special. It's just kind of this upper structure and then the stairs going down. You've also got a nice flat walking area here where you can build some natural stairs. And then let's go into the main temple area. This one has about 4 entrances that look like this. So 1 on each side, or each of the 4 sides. This main courtyard kind of looks the same all around. When you go into the main structure here, there are 2 entrances. There are 2 rooms, so 1 on this side and 1 on that side. And then a little staircase going up. Up these stairs, you got another room here and a balcony. And then here, if you want to go down this other side, that's the room across from that one I just showed you. Here's another room in the middle here. And then if you go out either of these sides, along the balcony, there's another staircase that leads to the top. And then you've got two kind of view areas, this top area here. This one goes out a little bit farther, and that's not the end of it. If you go out the side entrance here, there's a whole like beach river area that you can build on that's got lots of flat areas. This staircase goes partly into the water here. The water here is deep enough that you could have some water tames. So if you have any ocean tames like megalodons, basilosaurus, you might even be able to fit those Tusos in there. Let's get kind of an aerial view of this. Now, that's the tour of the place, right? But what resources are nearby? Or why would you want to build here? Well, first off, this main area does have its own natural wall, kind of like some of the other base areas that I've shown you. This part doesn't, so it is going to take a bit of work to close it off if you want to put dinos out here. But this part does, and you can build on top of these walls. So if you wanted to make that wall higher, you can make it higher all the way around. But the base part of it's already built. Nearby, all along this river, there are a ton of beaver dams that spawn. I'm not seeing any while I'm recording this video because I haven't been to this part of my map on single player, so it's probably going to take a while to render. But all of these rivers, so you can see from an aerial view, the river goes that way, all the way over there, there, all the way through all these rivers. I've seen maybe, if I do a little walk around, I'll see at least 10 or more beaver dams at a time. So really good for cementing paste. If you are looking for metal, there is a great location on the mountain right next to that base location, just to the east. A lot of metal up here, plenty of crystal. I guess the only resource that's not super close to this base location is obsidian. You can get obsidian though from the same area that I showed you before, that's kind of north of the blue obelisk. So if you have a flyer, you can fly over there. It's not too far away. It just takes like a minute to get there. But if you go straight out to the ocean here, there are a ton of silica pearls and black pearls. If you look in any of these trenches, there's actually quite a few of these like little trenches that go through here. Look along the bottom, plenty of silica pearls on this one that I'm showing you right now. So I may be a little bit partial to this base location simply for the fact that this is where I built on official PVE, and I love the way it looks. It's one of the coolest. I mean, we've seen a lot of like castle type ruins on a lot of maps, but I feel like these ruins are a little bit more unique, pretty fun to build in. Lots of different areas, lots of rooms, really good access to resources, lots of flat area to build as well. I would give this a 9.5 out of 10. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 just because obsidian and other resources are a little far away. It is going to take a little bit of work to enclose some of this area, but that also allows for a little bit of creativity. So for me, based on kind of what I value as a PvE player, I would say this is probably the best or one of the best PvE base locations. Some honorable mentions for base locations include right outside the artifact of the Strong Cave at 27.2, 54.3. Great access to resources from the cave, and metal and oil from the snow area nearby, as well as cementing paste from the beaver dams down in this river, and good access or close access to the ocean. This is what it looks like from an aerial view. Another great location to build is here at 58.3, 72.7. It's the southern part of the kind of flatlands where the Ovis and the Maywing spawn. This is a great location for early on players and for late game. There's a lot of flat land to build on, not too sloped around here. There's plenty of metal right here. And just below this location is the artifact cave that contains a lot of awesome resources, some loot drops, and black pearls. Honorable mention number 3 is anywhere close to this mountain, which is right east of the green obelisk at 63.4, 61.1. There's a ton of metal and crystal here, plenty of access to resources, some flat terrain like here and around the side, or even if you wanted to build off to the side of the mountain rather than on top of it. There is obsidian here, quick access to the obelisk, and one of the artifact caves, the artifact of the Sky Lord, if I'm not mistaken, right in there, which typically has 1 or 2 red drops almost every time that I've checked that cave. The Lost Island map is full of amazing base locations and plenty of great places to build, whether you're going for aesthetic, whether you're looking for good access to resources, good access to ocean or mountains, or if you want somewhere high up. There are just amazing, great locations. But because I can't go over them all, this will be my last honorable mention. This spot is located at 62.0, 30.7, 30.8-ish. These kind of Greek ruins here just have an awesome feel to them. Even though it might not be the biggest ruins on the map or the coolest location, it is still pretty awesome. Overall, I'd say it's a fairly solid spot. And that is about it for my rating and guide of awesome PvE locations on the Lost Island map. If you found this video at all helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe. Also, if you know of an awesome base location that you would like people to see, or you think it's just great and you would recommend to other players, please leave the coordinates down below in the comment section and tell me why you would choose that spot.